This is a description of observations and reflections as well of when I had observed a Read 180 classroom. And Read 180 is a program that's used both in the ESL departments at the various schools in the district, but as well as we use Read 180 in the special education. A lot of times we get students who, when determining placement, we really come down to, is a student more appropriate for the ESL programming or a special education general studies type of programming or course of study. And so, you would see these both in a special education classroom as well as an ESL classroom. So this is just observations and reflections that I saw. Just to begin some background information, Read 180 claims to be the most effective reading intervention program. It's been proven to raise reading achievement for struggling readers in grades 4 through 12, and it's this comprehensive program of curriculum, instruction, assessment, and there's even a component of professional development. So it's very thorough, and there's some information there at the bottom about where it was developed. Who exactly is Read 180 for? Well, right away, it's designed for any student who's at least 2 grade levels behind in terms of where they should be relative to their peers. It leverages adaptive technology, so again, we get the hands-on technology aspect to it, and it uses that to individualize instruction for students and provide powerful data for differentiation to teachers. And that's one of the really nice things when it comes to this notion of adaptive technology. Right here, that what that basically means is that the program is changing, the software changes as students complete different levels of reading to make it slowly but surely more challenging and to build those skills that they might be, that may need remediation in. It usually takes about 1 to 2 years before any significant gains can be observed for students. So we do use it in special ed as a year-long course, and I know the ESL department does something similar. There's 3 stages depending on the grade level of the student in terms of their reading ability. So there's elementary, there's middle school, and there's also high school. The student components here would include, they get a dashboard just to see their overall progress. It's kind of like a main menu for students. There's workbooks that are used, e-reads, so electronic reading files, and leveled paperback. So and they also have audiobooks, which is really nice, especially for that listening component. The instructional software that comes with Read 180 includes nonfiction, text pieces, 97%, 5 learning zones, anchor videos, audio recordings, quick checks with feedback. So we're getting all 4 of those WIDA and ESL indicators for reading, writing, speaking, and listening. So that's very nice. There's teacher components as well. Teachers have access to a dashboard, so kind of like a main menu, similar to what the students have. Instructional materials, purposeful assessments, and those assessments include progress monitoring, so charts that are able to show student progress, formative assessments, writing assessments, CBAs, PBAs, and independent reading assessments. So you really get a whole slew of really authentic, different types of meaningful assessments to use with this program, which is really nice. The types of skills that are developed as a result of Read 180 include phonemic awareness, phonics, fluency, text comprehension, academic vocabulary, which is key. We've talked about in other cohort classes, spelling, writing, global perspectives. So this is really more of a critical thinking and how does it apply to the world at large or our lives at large. And then one other thing that I really noticed was that there were college and career readiness skills within the assessments and lessons for Read 180, so in line with those Common Core standards. What I actually observed, the way that this is supposed to go in a classroom, ideally a 90-minute instructional model. Obviously, we only have 50 minutes at Palatine, so a lot of these get cut in half, or we get double-blocked periods of Read 180, which is more of what I observed. the back-to-back periods reading instruction. So we have whole group instruction for about 20 minutes, which includes just skills and strategies. So as a class together, there's direct instruction right away, and that includes reading, vocabulary, writing, and grammar. There's small group rotations for about an hour, so students are at 3 different small group settings. So there's instructional software, that's the adaptive software on the computer. So usually there will be an array of desks lined up for some approximately 1/3 of the class to use. There's small group instruction. So those are just resources for differentiated instruction and graphic organizing, small group instruction. Not much more to say about that. And then there's modeled and independent reading. So this is the third component within the small group rotations, which you can see over here in the image. Where students are building fluency and their reading comprehension skills by reading high interest text that's at their level and doesn't go beyond their ZPD, which is really important for encouraging students to continue to put effort into the lessons. And then there should be a 20-minute wrap up. This tends to be the component that gets a little bit pulled at the end when there's a time crunch. But it's very important just to review again the objectives for the day, not just the learning objectives, but also the language objectives that kind of bring the entire lesson back together, which was really nice to see. In terms of management, the classroom is designed for engagement. So there's if you look at the pictures here, there was a library that is provided by Scholastic, which is the company that makes this. There are tables as well as there's tables right here with that really cater to small group interaction, and then we have the computers back here for when students are working on the software portion. And here's another image of what that might look like. Usually students are wearing headphones because there is a speaking and listening component where they would use a microphone and headset to listen and not distract others. So that's something about Read 180 that was kind of nice. You get differentiated instruction within the actual class. Just some quick information that the teacher gave me about how they're assessed. There's a SRI that's given. It's an assessment test that places students at their appropriate levels based on their Lexile scores. So again, it assesses the level at which students are comprehending the text, and these should be taken quarterly just to make sure that placement is correct and valid. There is a computer management system called the Scholastic Achievement Manager, or SAM, which records student performance, progress, and just over 70 reports that are given to the teacher about performance. So it's very, very diagnostic and gives feedback to use in the class. Just some things about how Read 180 has impacted special ed. You are seeing it. It's multimodal curriculum right here. You can see it, you say it, you hear it, you read it, you write it. So we're hitting all those components of literacy that we talked about in our classes. And it's also got, this is really nice, at least in terms of special ed, is universal design. So making sure that's accessible to students that have physical disabilities as well, certain physical disabilities. So that's really nice. And we have here just a graph that shows the expected growth compared to actual growth that we see. So if we look at students that have specific learning disabilities, and those tend to be the students that are hard to place in terms of whether they go the ESL route or the special education route, but there's, expected growth here is 72, and we're actually hitting scores of 94. In terms of all students with any type of disability, we see significant gains as well, 77, as opposed to 83, which is what you get with Read 180, so still higher. And then Read 180 and ELLs, there's second language support in 5 languages. There's anchor videos that help just kind of wrap everything around and bring it back to the student in a meaningful way. Audio self-recording for self-assessment, so that's a very, very good key component of this. Multicultural content in terms of the text that's used, and modeled fluent reading. So again, that's not just the um, computer programming, but also the small group direct instruction as well. And so this graph right here shows us the increase that's demonstrated by non-Read 180 students. So we see growth of about 5 points there on a scaled score, as opposed to 13 here using Read 180, so we see its effectiveness. Overall, I thought it was great. The classroom is, like we said before, designed for management and easy control of the classroom. The students seem engaged because they're reading appropriate materials that aren't too kiddish. If you're a freshman and you're 5 grade levels behind, that's fourth grade. It's not fourth grade topics. It's just the level at which the text is designed. So overall, I thought it was a great program. The teacher is able to break up, and there's use of TAs as well to lead some of the small group activities. So that is Read 180, and that is my observation and reflection. I hope you guys enjoyed.